Major League Baseball gets what it wanted, a seventh game in the American League Championship Series, Mariners-Jays Monday night with a spot in the World Series on the line. And I took in LSU Vanderbilt on Saturday in Nashville, and yes, while there were a number of LSU fans at First Bank Stadium, the energy around Vandy football is growing and it's real. And this is your morning Buzzcast for Monday, October 20th. I'm Abe Madkour. Let's start with motorsports. Apple and F1 Friday confirmed their new U.S. media rights deal. It's a 5-year deal that begins next year. Formula One will receive about $140 million a year. That is a healthy increase from the roughly $90 million it receives currently from ESPN. Apple will air practices, qualifying, sprint races, and Grand Prix for subscribers. And if you look at this from the big picture, here's how I see it. ESPN has been a very good home for Formula One. After 18 races for this season, ESPN is averaging about 1.4 million viewers per F1 race, which, if it holds, would be an all-time high in the United States. Personally, I am a fan of wide distribution, and that's why ESPN really is such an important distribution partner and marketing partner. Now, we will have to see, going forward, if F1, by being on Apple TV, continues to maintain relevance and be in the conversation when it comes to a viewer's options for their sports consumption. On Friday, the leaders of Apple and F1 both said that they were very confident that Formula One will not lose any visibility by going off linear television in the United States. But that's the angle I'll be watching moving from ESPN to Apple starting next year. Meanwhile, as we noted last week on the Buzzcast, Formula One announced an 8-year extension to keep the U.S. Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, so they'll be racing there until 2034. That has been a very healthy race for Formula One. It's been a big boon for the city of Austin. Formula One will remain in Austin through 2034. The NBA opens its season this week, Tuesday night. Hard to believe the NBA's back. We all know there are a lot of new storylines around the NBA, specifically around new media partners. NBC, Amazon, they will join Disney and NBA TV in broadcasting the games. And so the NBA is really working hard to make sure viewers can find the games they want to watch. So in order to make discoverability of games easier, the league is implementing a new feature called Tap to Watch. Every fan can hit that and see where their games are being played. And this Tap to Watch is across all digital pages. So it could be on NBA.com, a team page, a schedule page, could be on Meta or X. It will direct fans to where their games are being shown this season. You'll also see it later on FanDuel and even be tied into retail points of sale on the Fanatics network of sites. So again, trying to help fans, trying to help viewers find the games they want to see. And so why is this important? Well, we all have so many streaming services. There are so many games on so many platforms. It's really, really hard to know where games can be seen. I mentioned Apple's Eddie Q earlier. Well, he's an incredibly influential figure in the sports space. And he commented on this last week at a conference. He said, quote, "It's never been a better time because let's face it, every sport in the world is available in some fashion or another to watch. The problem, though, is we all know we can all watch everything, but it's very hard to find. You have to sign up for 1,200 subscriptions to get them," end quote. So what is he talking about? Well, he is talking about the difficulty of discoverability. He's wondering if it could lead to a new bundle of products that would make it easier for consumers. That's why on the Buzzcast last week, I asked many of you what your favorite streaming service is, and I shared those responses in my Sunday Forum email that goes out every Sunday morning. If you didn't receive it, just let me know. I'm happy to send it to you, and you'll see some of the responses from Buzzcast listeners. But discoverability and a future bundling is an issue to watch. A big move at Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment, which is led by co-founders Josh Harris and David Blitzer, as they have hired ESPN analyst Bob Myers, who, yes, was general manager of the Warriors for so long, as president of their organization. So Bob Myers joins in a full-time role across all of their sports properties. That's the Devils, the 76ers, Crystal Palace in the Premier League. They have an investment in Joe Gibbs Racing. He will be focused on the sports operations, while CEO Tad Brown, he will continue to oversee the company's business operations. Myers is very well regarded. He played at UCLA. He was a basketball agent at Wasserman before joining the Warriors. And now he will work closely with Harris and Blitzer on the structure of the teams, on the makeup of the personnel, on culture, on using data and analytics. Now, each team representative at the Devils and at the 76ers will be in charge of their rosters, but Bob Myers will have a big voice. He's already been helping Josh Harris over the last year with the Commanders specifically. Now, he will remain in California, but travel regularly to properties and events. And for Bob Myers, why is this job so attractive? Well, it gets him close to ownership. It gives him oversight of multiple sports teams across various leagues, and the company has a global footprint. So it's a great opportunity for Bob Myers. The Brian Rolapp era at the PGA Tour is starting to take shape. He's made a couple of personnel moves to his executive leadership team that has people talking. He is bringing on 2 former NFL executives to focus on the commercial business and also communications, while 2 other longtime tour employees are set for retirement. So first, who did Brian Rolapp bring on? Rolapp is bringing on his former colleague at the NFL, Dhruv Prasad, as the tour's new chief commercial officer, while Paul Hicks, who was the NFL's former executive of communications and public policy, will have the same role at the tour. Meanwhile, longtime tour executive Rick Anderson, he will retire after 30 years, as will Allison Keller, who was the tour's chief administration officer. So what did Brian Rolapp bring in? 2 trusted executives that he worked with previously. They will both be based in Ponte Vedra, Florida. The news of 2 retirements isn't surprising, and I do believe we'll see more and more changes coming to the PGA Tour as Brian Rolapp begins to shape the organization in his vision. So here's a little insight on the compensation of one of the top athletic directors in the country, as Clemson's board approved a new deal for athletic director Graham Neff that will see his salary increase from $900,000 a year to $1.25 million and eventually climb to $1.7 million a year. This will make him certainly one of the higher paid ADs in the ACC and probably in the top half of athletic directors nationally. But this is a smart move for Clemson. Graham Neff is one of the strongest ADs out there. His results really speak for themselves, as they have won several ACC titles across various sports. He's been at the institution for 13 years. This is his 4th year as athletic director, and he's also very active and engaged in national issues. Graham Neff staying put at Clemson as the school's athletic director. And so my takeaways from today's Buzzcast are, number 1, Josh Harris and David Blitzer, they have fortified leadership by bringing on the talented Bob Myers as president of team operations. So he will again think about team building, culture, and using data and analytics across the organization. Number 2, executive changes are starting to happen at the PGA Tour, and Brian Rolapp has brought on 2 former colleagues from the NFL who are big hitters when it comes to deal-making and communications. Number 3, Formula One has placed its bet on future growth with Apple, signing a 5-year media deal where all races will be exclusively on Apple. We will have to see if this impacts consumption and overall exposure. And my last takeaway, finding the sports that you want is a concern for all sports executives, and you will hear more and more about making discoverability easier for viewers, and it could result in a whole rebundling of platforms and services. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Monday, October 20th. I'm Abe Madkour. Thanks for listening. Stay healthy. Be Be good to each other. I'll speak to you tomorrow.